Head coach for Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz, has joined the list of college football coaches who are speaking out against big name, image, likeness deals. We will talk about it. Before we do, make sure you hit the like button if you like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my exclusive Clemson content I put out every single week. All right, another 5-minute video about a topic of college football or Clemson football, specifically Clemson, but this time it's college football because I thought it was something very interesting that Eli Drinkwitz just came out and said. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, he said that he believes some players are making more money through NIL deals than some doctors. I wanted to get into it and get some of your thoughts as well. Let me pull up the actual screenshot from the tweet from Ross Dellinger just today, earlier today. So he said, and he puts a picture screenshot here over on Twitter, and it says, quote, "We're giving guys 18 to 22-year-olds," which, by the way, I mean, I get age, but everybody wants to bring up age. You can do a lot of things at 18, 22. I was serving my country in Iraq, by the way. So I'm not in the biggest agreement of age being that you're irresponsible. All right. Now, I do think that you don't make the best decisions always, but that doesn't mean you're completely irresponsible with life. Okay. But we like to say that as we're older, 18, 22-year-olds, what do they know? Right. But anyways, we're giving them life-changing money. People are making more money on NIL than my brother-in-law, who is a pediatrician who saves lives. Now, to me, I have to stop right there when he says that, because to me, it doesn't really fully make any sense. Because when I think about that, I'm thinking, who is saying this? This is not somebody working at the Dollar General. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But this is someone who is a head coach of an SEC team, college, making, I believe, according to my comments on Twitter, $6 million a year. So I'm sure he's making more money than his brother-in-law, a pediatrician. I think pediatrician actually really is one of the lower paying doctor jobs out there. It's not like he's a brain surgeon or anything, but I do believe a pediatrician is a very important job. But as you know, when it comes to the society we live in and the economy that we have, it's not all about whether or not how important your job is equals to how much you get paid. It's really about what kind of demand you bring for the revenue that comes in. But anyways, I'll continue. And we kind of do it cavalier, I guess, like we don't care about giving these guys money. But we think there's not going to be side effects or issues, which I would disagree. I've been saying this from the beginning. I think there's definitely going to be side effects and issues in the long term, and maybe not just because of poor money decisions, but I think of overall competitiveness, and maybe that's what he's talking about here too. There's information out there, bad actors out there, always trying to make a dollar, running around campuses trying to gather information, and it's going to become a key issue in our locker room. So as I bring back on the screen, got a minute and a half to go. Again, I want to get your comments in as well over on YouTube, but because I have a ton on Twitter right now. But I do agree at the very end what he's talking about with regards to how there's bad actors and there's guys out there, there's collectives out there, there's groups, there's boosters, whoever, that are doing things in their own interest, not in the player's interest, not in the university's interest, and they're trying to manipulate the system. We've already seen that they're manipulating recruiting, they're heavily manipulating transfer portal. And it's not going to be good for the long term. So far, I feel like competitiveness and the integrity of the game and the integrity of recruiting and roster management and all those things are terrible. I think that the way it is right now is great for the player to be able to make money off of their name, image, likeness. But the problem that I have is that you don't have this in the NFL with respect to it being tied to where you're playing. Okay, LeBron James, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, all those guys, Patrick Mahomes, they can have a sponsorship deal with any kind of, or endorsement with any kind of brand really that's socially acceptable, but they can have any kind of deal, and it's not tied to exactly where they're playing. And I think that's the problem is with college. There's a lot of things out there that we're seeing that is tied to where you're going to play, could potentially play, or bring you out of and away from where you're currently playing. So I feel like that's where the biggest part is. But really and truly, Drinkwitz completely missed the mark with what he said. I'm sure, that he probably wants to take this back, but it's ridiculous for someone who is obviously in his position, making more money than a lot of doctors out there, to say that, his players shouldn't make more than doctors. But I understand where he's kind of coming from. I kind of understand where he's coming from when it comes to the other parts that he's saying about how there's people in there that are not in the best interests of the player. But again, I do feel like in the long run, something has to happen with the NIL with regards to being more fair to all the college football players out there and college players out there and universities, and something out there where we can just stop the tampering, because we know every single coach out there has said there is just really, really bad run amok tampering out there that just is needs to be addressed eventually. I thought it would be addressed with this Jaden Rashada stuff that happened at Florida, but obviously, as Mickey told me on the radio, Morgan, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be swept under the rug. You're going to move on. Nobody's going to care because there's too much money involved right now. And my concern with college football is that it's going to eventually come to the courts and the politicians. And to be honest with you, can we believe that anything between the courts and the politicians is going to make something better? To be honest with you, no. Especially if you leave it split up to the states, you could potentially have some states doing some things and other states doing other things. We already have that actually right now, and it's kind of a nightmare, to be honest. So I do believe things need to change. I don't agree with the way that Eli Drinkwitz, his comments today. Let me know what you think in the comments about NIL. I'd love to get your take. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe over on YouTube.